Lesson 16. Lesson 16 contains the sixth set of brief forms, special phrases, and the word ending your and wal. Starting with the brief forms, we have 8 brief forms. We have the company, work, ever or every, state, communicate, soon, recommend, and direct. For the company, this is represented by the stroke of the K and P. We have your K and P. The blending of your K and P. For the word work, this is represented by the blend of R and K. We have the R and K. For ever and every, this is represented by E and V. We have the E and V. For state, we have S and T. State, we have S and T. This is the word is it, the phrase is it. But remember, we have the brief form for state, which is represented by S and T. For communicate, we have, this is represented by com and KAT. We have your K or your com and then another KAT. Next for soon, we have your right S and N. For soon, we have your right S and N. For recommend, we have your R, E, and K. R, E, and K. For direct, we have your D, R, and K. We have D, R, and K. So those are the 8 brief forms, the 6th set of our brief forms. Next, we have the brief form derivatives. For brief form derivatives, we have first word, we have the companies. The brief form that we have for this is company. We have the KP and we have your left S for yes. Next, for a company, we have your A, K, and P. For worker, our brief form is work, which is represented by R and K, and we have your at the end, which will be represented by another R. So for the word worker, we have your R, K, R. Next, for everywhere, we have your brief form every and your brief form where. Your where is represented by AR. We have your every, which is represented by EV, and where is your AR. So this outline is read as everywhere. For the whenever, we have the brief form when, which is represented by EN, and your ever, which is represented by EV. We have when, and then our ever. Next, we have the word stated. We have your brief form state, which is represented by ST. And then we have your D at the end. For us to identify that we have D at the end, we will jog the T and D. So we have ST, the jog, and then your D. For communication, we have the brief form communicate, which is represented by your K, K, A, T. Okay? But for this one, we have your word ending shown. So, we will remove the T here because we will not say communicate, but rather we will we will say communication. So we have your your K, and then our A, and then Sean. Okay. Next, for communications, we have your K, K, A, Sean, and then our right S. Okay. Next, we have communicated. In this one, we have your communicate as our brief form, and then your D. We have your K, K, A, communicate, and then we have your TED, right? We have your TED. Wala nang jog doon. Hindi na siya magja-jog, but we will continue with the outline of your TED. Next is the word sooner. For the word sooner, we have your soon as a brief form. So this is represented by your right S and N, and then we have your R. Next, we have recommends. We have the brief form recommend and your S. So for recommend, we have your R, E, K, and then we have your right S. For recommended, we have your brief form recommend. We have your R, E, K, and then your D. For recommendation, we have your recommend and your word ending Sean. So we have R, E, K, and then your Sean. If recommendations, we have your word ending Sean and then your S. We have your R, E, K, Sean, and then our left S. Next is directed. I will put here to give us more space. We have your D, R, K, and then your D. Next, for director, we have your D, R, K, and your R. For directly, we have your direct as the brief form and your word ending ly, which gives us D, R, K, and your word ending ly. For direction, we have your D, R, K, and our Sean. So those are our our brief form derivatives. Now let's go with our special phrases for this lesson. For special phrases, again, we will have omission of some words in our special phrases. First, we have to us. Our to is represented by TU, and our us is represented by our US. But if we will combine the two, we will omit the U for to because we already have the U for us, which gives us the T, and then we have the us. I repeat, we have two us. We have your T-U-S. Next, for the word of course. So, of course, we have your O for off. And then for easier writing, your course is represented by K. So we have OK, which reads as of course. Next is as soon as. We have your as is represented by AS. Your soon is represented by SN. And again, your as is represented by AS. But rather than combining the three outlines for the three words, we will have your A, S, N, and our left S. We have A for us, and then SN for soon, and the left S for us. Okay, so that is how we write as soon as. Now, when we write as soon as possible, again, we have the outline for as soon as, which is represented by A, S, N, and S. For possible, this is represented by your P. Okay, we have your as soon as possible. A, S, N, S, and then your P. Next, for let us, we have your L, E, and then your right S. L, E, and right S. For let me, we will be omitting, rather than writing L-E-T for let, we will be omitting the T, which gives us your L, E, M, and E for let me. I repeat, L, E, M, and E for let me. Next, for to make, we will be using the blended of your them. The blend of your them. So we have, for to me, we have the blend of your them and then E. For to make, we have the blend of your them, your A, and then your K. For to do, we have the blend of your TED, and then we have your U. I repeat, for to do, we have your blend of TED and your U. So that is how we are going to write the special phrases that we have in our lesson 16. Next, we have our word ending your. Your word ending your, which is represented by R. Okay? Our word ending your is represented by the stroke of your R. For example, we have the word procedure. For the word procedure, we have your word ending your. So, ano na lang yung natira? We have proceed. So, meron tayong P, R, your O, and then your right S, E, D, and then ang your natin, which is represented by R. So, that is how we are going to write the outline for procedure. Next, example, we have the word failure. Okay, for the word failure, again, we have your word ending your. So, ano na lang yung natira sa atin? We have the word fail, which is represented by your F, A, and then your L, and then we have your. Next word, we have picture. Picture. So, we have your. Meron tayong P, our K, because your E in pick is omitted. Our K, and then T, and then R. Next example, we have natural. Okay, we have natural. Okay, for your, kung hinahanap ninyo yung your sa natural, we have your natural in the middle. Okay? For this word, we have your N, A, T, your, and our L. Next, we have the word feature. Okay, for the word feature, we have your F, E, T, and R. I repeat, we have F, E, T, R. So that is the word ending your, which is represented by the outline of your R. Next is our word ending wal, which is represented by the outline or the stroke of our L. For example, we have the word annual. For example, we have the word annual. We have your word ending wal. We have an and then your wal. Next is annually. For annually, we have your word ending wal and your word ending li. We have your an, and then wal is represented by your L, and li is represented by your E. So that is how we are going to write the outline for the word annually. Next, we have the word actual. For the word actual, we have your A, K, T, and then your wal. Next example, we have the word equal. Okay, we have your word ending wal. Your Q is pronounced as K. So we will be using K in our outline. We have your E, K, and then your wal. I repeat, we have E, K, wal. Next, we have the word gradually. So again, we have your word ending wal and your word ending li. So we have grad, G, R, A, D, and then your wal, tapos yung ating li. Okay? Next is contractual. For the word contractual, we have two principles. We have your con and your word ending wal. Your word beginning con and word ending wal. Your word beginning con is represented by K. So this is con and then T. And then we will be omitting your A in between your R and K. we have your R, K, and then your T, and your wal, word ending wal. Okay, so that is how we are going to write your word ending wal. Okay, for word ending your, this is represented by R. For word ending wal, this is represented by L. But, okay, but we have a rule. We have a rule. But after a downward stroke, the U is written. Okay, after the downward stroke, sorry, after a downward stroke, the U is written. Just like this. For your, okay, ito yung ating your. But if we have, after the downward stroke, we will include the U. Okay? And then this is our wal. But after the downward stroke, your U is written. For example, we have, let me just move this. For example, we have the word pleasure. For example, we have the word pleasure. We have your word ending your. And your S here sounds like your SH. And our SH is represented by a downward stroke. So, anong sabi natin kanina? After the downward stroke, we will write the U. So, for pleasure, we have your P, L, and then your E. Okay? And we have a downward stroke of your SH. So since we have a downward stroke of your SH, we will be applying this principle. We have to include the U in your and then the R. So that is how we are going to write the outline for the word pleasure. Next, we have the word pressure. Okay, we have the word pressure. Again, we have the word ending your, and we have your S, but the sound of your S in this word is SH, which is represented again by a downward stroke. So we have your P, your R, E, and our SH. So, downward stroke yon. So, gagamitin ulit natin si U. Kay your. Okay? Next, for kay visual. For the word visual. Okay, for the word visual, we have your word ending wal, which is represented by L. However, your S here sounds like your SH, which is represented again by a downward stroke. So, instead of using your L for wal, we will be including the U. So, for the word visual, meron tayong V, your E, your SH, and then our wal. Okay? So that is how we are going to write our word ending your and wal. Okay, we have your R for your L for wal, but we will be including U for your if after the downward stroke. And we will include U for wal after the downward stroke. So that is how we are going to write your word ending your and wal. So That would be all for your lesson 16. For lesson 16, meron tayong, move ko lang to. For our lesson 16, we have your brief forms, your brief forms derivatives, we have your special phrases, and our word ending your and while. So those are the content for our lesson 16. Thank you so much.